Hello, everybody, and welcome to Late Night Football. Welcome to another season review episode. Yeah, we're going to continue this. And we did two for the Premier League, by the way. We did one on Chelsea and then we did one on Manchester City. So if you haven't seen them, do check them out. They are available, of course, for viewing on Facebook and YouTube. So let me check them out. But we're here and we're going to do today on Barcelona. So we're kind of expanding our horizons a little bit. And joining me, of course, is Knayha. Knayha, welcome on the show.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Rohit. Finally, we're doing
Welcome
this,
back.
and I'm thinking about
What to say?
what all to say, and from where it went, from where it started with, thinking
Yeah,
about.
that's a strange season to talk about. But yeah, for those who don't know, Knayha also follows Barcelona along with Man United. So, it's that we're sparing him the misery by making him do only one season review show, because I think if we had to do both, he probably might have been depressed out there. So we'll just do one with him today. But yeah, well, let's talk about Barcelona, because I mean it's a strange season. I think about it, because there was the period under Koeman, which was really bad, objectively bad, and then Xavi came in, and Xavi did a little bit better, I would say. I don't think he did as good as people might think, but he didn't do. But it was a step up, obviously. So where do you rank this season? Where do you in terms of how do you see the season that has just gone by? How do you see it?
I think it's definitely a season of two halves in a way, right? Or I would even say that there were multiple. I was even not even two. That start of the season, I would just take us back to May last year, when we're now talking about when does Messi renew his contract. That kind of starting to boil up, and Laporte coming in, and he's saying the president, the ex-Barca board had ruined the club, and there was no and these kind of, and I'm like, just get it done, just sign the deal and just move on. What's holding you back? Just and then the worst thing ever for a Barca fan or a Messi fan to just look at him cry, announce, and basically say that that's it, this is over. And and then Laporta kind of going back and making La Liga, the fair play rules, a scapegoat. If they had just agreed to this, Messi was, and then the stories, the rumors doing the rounds that Messi didn't want to half his salary, and his father didn't want, and stuff. So the rumor, but then for Barcelona, they definitely didn't start that well, right? With also then with when they wanted all the players, basically. Then it was a great exit. There were excitement around these players, Griezmann, Suarez. Everyone starts kind of packing up, almost then they know the writing on the wall in a way. All the players, the big ones with the salaries. When Messi left, everyone that saved some of the people for the time being. But then it was very clear that it's going to be a very shaky, rocky board. A board for and a dressing room from that day on, because those players who came in,
Memphis, right?
Memphis Depay, who was decided already that he was going to join, and I think he was in his dreams looking at playing with Messi or assisting Messi or getting assists from Messi in a way, and then he suddenly
Aguero was the one who probably joined because of Messi, yeah.
Because of Messi as well, that's kind of heartbreaking as well, how we kind of the saga ended. He, of course,
no pun intended there, heartbreaking.
Yeah, it was literally. But then that's kind of the thing, and I almost felt like that was shocking. So and it's very we live in a world which is so present, almost and so forward looking, that we basically forget that how we started off this year. And I think that's kind of, and talking or just thinking about thinking about what to say and so on, I was like, if I just spend the whole review on this, that's the review. This is how it started.
Yeah, it is one of those defining moments, isn't it? When someone of Messi's stature, let alone his ability, but just his stature at the club, I mean, somebody of that stature leaves, right? I mean, you're scrambling, you're left scrambling, because you can't replace him. There's nobody who can replace him. Maybe there's one person, but yeah, maybe arguably, I will say, but I know people get upset, but yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, so but you can't really replace him. Not at Barcelona anyway. You can't really replace him at Barcelona.
I don't think you replace him. I think you get players that then allow you to kind of be at that level, but then you can't replace one player like Messi with anybody.
I don't think anybody could replace him stature
No.
with Barcelona. Ability wise, I mean that's a debate of what his ability is right now. Anyway, that's up for debate, and I'm not going to get into that. But stature wise, I don't think there's anyone who could have replaced him at Barcelona. So yeah, I mean it's a massive. Not even you can't even call it a rebuild. Rebuild. It's just a massive void that's left.
Yeah.
And then to try to recover from that was something. But let's talk. We could talk about Messi and that probably take up the whole episode. But let's just talk about where Barcelona are at the moment. What are your thoughts on Xavi? Do you think he's done a good job? I mean, obviously people will talk about the Clasico, and then people will talk about Frankfurt, the Europa League games, which I thought was a shock. Really, I didn't expect Frankfurt to beat them. But then and of course there's the Copa del Rey exit, but then they also got second place. Which probably nobody expected halfway through. So. Where do you see Xavi, and what do you see as for this summer? What is your expectations for him?
I think it was pretty clear early on the fact that people were waiting for him in a way.
Yeah,
like people are waiting for something new, because it definitely did not work with the manager before, right? They and of course even then it was pretty hard on them, right? He would have been expecting to have Messi, and then suddenly he's not there, and then everyone's like, but wait a minute, what? How is this? How is this even working? Will this even work? So I think that allowed, not having Messi allowed Xavi to actually implement something new to Barcelona. Like it didn't kind of scratch the whole different playbook that they had, that Messi, you play around Messi, and Messi is integral. You can't every 2 minutes he has to touch a ball, otherwise he's off a game. And somehow that you need to feed him, he needs to keep touching the ball so that he is engaged, and the whole team is working towards allowing Messi to kind of play or dictate the game. But rather than, and then he knew that first. So the reality, so it had gone really worse for Barcelona at that time. Yeah, and I think for Xavi that was the saving grace in a way. Like I think for him it was also the fact that it didn't go bad for him when he was there. Yeah. Like Koeman had the worst of Barcelona, I would say. Like it was not his fault. Like he just couldn't play his tactics, because you have a director of football, the saying that you need to lose players. We need to get the wage bill down as soon as possible. And then he's like, who am I even playing here? Yeah. What am I playing? And Koeman is not a bad manager. I would argue against it, but then he was not given the best resources in a way to kind of ensure that he performs well or kind of gets the best out of him. So, but Xavi on the other hand is like sitting in Qatar and looking at this thing, and basically it's going to fall in my lap eventually, and I'm going to soak it in, but then let it go. That because let this thing roll, have its life of its own, and let me see how people get excited about this. Yeah. What do I actually get? What's the moving? How can I get players? Like I think that was the thing, right? He wanted Ferran Torres, that was pretty clear, and he got it. Like even so, I think he played it very smart. I would say that he, even given the woes that Barcelona still is in, he still could get Ferran Torres as his first guy, and he got him. Yeah, they just went in. Yeah. So in that sense, but I feel that I won't say that was a turning point, but that it also tells me that Barcelona wanted some fresh ideas, and Koeman could not provide it, because of course he would have thought of Messi during those plans, but then it takes time for him to see how the team evolves, and the dressing room drama that's happening around him with
you're also morale, right?
Exactly. Like
you lose your club legend, and obviously everybody's down. Now you need somebody else to come in, and I think Xavi coming in, another club legend comes in. So it's like, okay, well, one's gone, but other ones. And Koeman isn't really was already there. He needed somebody like of that sort of ilk to come in, maybe as a player, but obviously Barcelona couldn't afford a player like that. So yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, also, of course, the poor performances in the Champions League probably made it worse because then they were knocked out there as well. So that's something.
I think I think it was just from the start. I would say everybody knew that Barcelona is not going to go far in any competition. Any win that they had was celebrated as if they had won a final.
Yeah, well, I would have hoped that they would get further in the Europa League. I think quarterfinals is not really where Barcelona.
Yeah, but then of course, the way they lost to Frankfurt in a way, and I think they might take the pleasure in saying that they lost to the champions.
Yeah, that's the only saving grace is that Frankfurt went on to win it. If they hadn't, then that would have been embarrassing. I think they can say, yeah, we lost the best team.
Exactly, and that's what I am saying, and that's how I feel about it. I'm like, at least Barcelona lost to the champions. So,
but on the flip side, if they had beaten Frankfurt, they would have gone on to win the competition.
Could be, but I don't think they would have won it. I still feel that they would have choked at some place because I feel.
Well, the next one was West Ham, and then you're facing Rangers. So you're really,
but the West Ham game would have been the hardest one for them because the West Ham would have played harder than in a way just to prove a point because they're playing Barcelona.
Yeah, it's difficult to say. I mean, it's all what ifs anyway at this point.
Exactly, but
let's talk about the players a little bit because I do want to touch on that as well. You touched on Ferran Torres. I thought it was all right in the second half of the season. Were you surprised? I mean, where do you see the future for Adama Traore? I think that was the one loan signing they made. Right? I don't think they made any other loan signings in January. Do you see Adama Traore staying? I mean, I know the Sting isn't coming back because I think Laporta has already said they're not going to bring him back on a permanent deal. So do you see him perhaps coming back on loan again if he can push for it, or do you think that they're going to look for something else?
I think it depends on what Traore wants. Like it definitely is again the fact that is Traore now needed back in the Premier League? Does he Wolves, do they want him back? Or if they don't, like, of course he has clicked well here, but then again another loan deal, and then it's basically kind of no guarantees in a way. So I think, yeah, but I think it's pretty weird. He's definitely okay. Getting him on loan was a great deal, both for Barcelona and I think Traore in a way that he started playing. Aubameyang, getting Aubameyang as well was kind of the other freak deal that just happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, it happened, and they clicked. There were crosses. Aubameyang was at the end of it, and so on. And he could assist, but it all depends on what Traore wants. It seems like, as per now, the rumor mill is that he's going somewhere else.
Yeah. Torres might be interested. Yeah.
Yes, but that will be very interesting as well. He could come back to the Premier League with some other club, but I don't think he stays in the La Liga because the style of play is very different. It's much more explosive, which we don't see in La Liga that much. But then he brings a very different side to Barcelona. It allows them a different play. That could also interest him. But then again, the fact that it's going to be another loan deal, and how easy is it to crack that, and also given the interest that he has from the other clubs now, because they know what's going to happen, and so on. But I think his season, getting him in January on a loan deal was also pretty well thought of, or like at least it worked out pretty well. Looks pretty good.
Yeah, the January didn't get as much game time. Were you surprised with that, or do you think that's just?
I don't think I was surprised with that because I think they were hoping not to get anybody more in January.
Okay.
And because I think that's what kind of changed it. Like Luuk de Jong is a good signing. I won't say he's bad. He's a good player. He understands what it takes to work, or like the game, the La Liga, how the teams play. He has more experience in that sense. And it gives Barcelona somebody to look forward to. But again, he was kind of a signing that Koeman wanted in a way, right? This was a Koeman signing as well, and I think he wanted, because of the Dutch connection as well, that he wanted him to play there. That was another reason I think which didn't work for him, because Xavi didn't start him that much, but then he did bring him in games, couple of games. I don't think he started any game under Xavi.
Yeah, but he always came on the bench and seemed to get a goal.
He came from the bench. Yeah, he came from the bench. and he turned it around. So I think that. But then I think he's not a bad player. I don't think.
I thought I was impressed with him for the little that I saw him. I thought he was good. I'm not saying that he should be starting every game, but I'm just surprised he didn't start as much as he should have.
Yeah.
That's what I feel. But are you surprised Sergi Roberto is still staying, as well as they put Mengetsa up on for transfer? Are you surprised with those two? I haven't seen a lot of Sergi Roberto this season, so I'm not sure why they've kept him. But
I don't think I'm surprised by this. This is pretty clear that they've decided it's like another Manchester United, where they've known that kind of there are players which are just there, we're just waiting for getting people. If players are injured, they might get a chance, and then that's what they're banking on. But I think with what's been discussed with Christensen.
You're also getting in Christensen. I think Azpilicueta might be coming as well. Yeah, so
Azpilicueta and there are some. I don't know. Alonso is being discussed.
Kessia is coming as well.
Kessia. So with those three coming in, I think it's pretty difficult then for them to even stay, or kind of they could stay. But I think Laporte will want to kind of get them off the wage bill at least, or kind of have a huge cut.
I'm just surprised with Roberto only because he's been given a new contract. So I'm just
because they might be looking for they might be looking for him for like somebody buys him.
That's the only assumption I can make, because I haven't seen him. I guess I'm a bit surprised that they want to sell him, because I thought he was one of their better prospects, but maybe he hasn't developed as much as they hope. He was pretty bad in the Europa League game against Frankfurt. So maybe that thinking as well there. But in which case, Eric Garcia probably shouldn't be there either. But
because he's dropped. He only had 12 appearances this season with Barcelona. Instead of the 12 that he had, 20 he had last season. So that's considerably dropped as well. But then I think I think they're just waiting for somebody to kind of swoop in. But I don't even see maybe a La Liga side, maybe Seville, Villarreal.
Maybe one of those lower. I mean, Villarreal might need a defender. Pau Torres is.
If Pau Torres, that's what I'm
there might be. Even Sevilla might need one if Koundé leaves. So there's definitely going to be centre backs on the move. All right, let's just move on here. Frenkie de Jong. Do you think he's going to leave? Because I mean that the rumors are really strong. And obviously, this is something that's United related as well. But do you see him leaving? Do you think he's one of those assets that maybe they can generate some money from him? He's not someone who's they've got Kessia coming in, so maybe they feel that he's expendable.
They need him to leave. Barcelona need him to leave in a way. Like it's kind of like Xavi would be like turning in his sleep and basically be like, I'm gonna miss this. I love him so much. He's amazing the way he plays. Like just looking at him play, like it's poetry.
It's funny because a lot of people don't think he offers much to Barcelona. So it's kind of interesting that
I think he's just carried on what he did with Ajax and just elevated it to a very different level. Because he also is not the key guy. Sergio Busquets is still next to him, so it's Busquets who's kind of the bad guy, and Frenkie de Jong is the good guy. And he kind of the bursts that he gives you, going up top, and then the edge of the box, he's there, and the touch that he's brilliant. But I think they need him to leave. I think the rumor mill that is happening right now is they're looking at 80 million. To kind of unload him so that they can get some cash in to allow some players in.
And they need to buy Lewandowski as well, apparently, Barcelona from that as well. So there's a
lot to happen, but I think it's going to be a miss. But yeah, he's in Australia. I think they're touring Australia right now, Barcelona. So I think he's with them, but these are tours which are basically
gotta get those Australian dollars, gotta get the money in from somewhere. So the wages aren't going to pay themselves.
No, and I think that's what's that. But then but I think the connection with also Erik ten Hag coming to Manchester United, that just kind of opens up the whole thing. But the main question the main question for Frenkie de Jong is like, does he compromise on the Champions League that he will not get if he comes to Manchester United? But then if he goes to a Chelsea or if he goes to a PSG or Juventus, maybe because it's been very clear that PSG has been lacking.
I don't think Juventus will pay 60 million for him. Not when they're trying to get Pogba for free. I don't think they're looking at PSG.
But with Dybala going as well, I think it still leaves a bit too much on Pogba. But I don't know. But I'm just.
But they don't play the same position, so I don't think Juventus are an option. Just with the money part, like I'm sure Juventus would want him. I just don't think the money will work. The finances will work. But PSG are interested. Bayern might be interested. So, and there's of course Chelsea. Well, Manchester City might be interested as well. So, there's all sorts of options for him at the moment. But yeah, I mean, yeah, Knayha is very confident, very, very confident, not confident, but also very, very, in a resigned way, saying that probably Frenkie de Jong will leave, but we will see.
Yeah, I don't want
one.
to leave Barcelona because he's been one of those players where you just watch him play, like the movement he makes, the way he just makes it so simple and beautiful to watch him. Even when people say, "Oh, he loses the ball," it's fine. That. Messi loses the ball as well. Mo Salah also loses. Ronaldo as well.
Maguire loses the ball every time. But I mean, about that. I'm just kidding. No.
But then I'm like the way he plays,
just
the way.
That's one to keep an eye on.
Yeah, it's almost, and I feel like Xavi, the way he's kind of coming out and saying, "I love him, I just want him to stay," and so on. It's basically like almost in denial that don't do this to me, please, don't take him away and stuff.
I still feel he will stay at Barcelona, but I just have a feeling. I think it's the kind of deal that I think can't be done by most clubs. I think the thing is, that's just what I feel. That this gut feeling. We'll see what happens. We'll keep an eye on that. Just a final one that I'm going to talk about is Pedri. Now, I think it's fair to say Pedri is probably the most talented teenager at the moment in world football. I don't think there's any other teenager that I think you would rate higher than Pedri. It's a fantastic player. I think I love him. I like Gavi as well, by the way. I like both of them. But
I like Gavi as well. I really like the gusto that Gavi gets in. He's one of those teenagers who's very mature in his mind as well. I feel the way he plays and the aggression that he brings onto the pitch.
I do like that. And but with Pedri, do you think his best at the moment he's playing as a winger? And I don't know if he's playing there to accommodate other players, but is his best position as a winger or is his best position as a central midfielder?
I think his best is the central midfield, but then that is occupied in Barcelona completely. Like, there is no space there. So that's the reason. Is there no
space there, or is it the fact that they play him on the winger because they don't have a winger? Like, I just wonder if they do that because, I mean, if you've got a Pedri, do you really, I mean, the reality is if, it's like saying, well, there's no space for Messi to play as a winger.
But then they have, but then they have Dembele and they have Traore as well.
So, well, Dembele is apparently bonus issues, so he can't.
I don't think he's leaving. I think he's realized that he's burnt his bridges with a lot of other clubs. I think they've realized what a mess this will be if they get him. Like, come on, who wants to get a player?
PSG, Mbappe wants him. And Mbappe is the power broker now at PSG.
I don't think. Yeah, but could be a
free transfer. The reason why it's attractive is it's a free transfer. If it was a transfer, like it wouldn't be. I would say nobody. But I think on a free transfer, I think there might be interest here.
Yeah, but I still feel that Pedri on the I feel that Pedri on the wing just makes him injury prone because then he does a lot more running and then he's supposed to. And I think for Spain he plays more central.
That's why he made his mark. He was a top central midfielder at the Euros.
Exactly. And you could see him play like the way but Barcelona just
I think I said this last year as well. I think I said this. United should just make a cheeky bid for Pedri, because they're having this financial. Just make 100. You've got money to spur. Just make a 70-80 million pound bid. See what they say, right? You just do it. Like if I was United, I would just go, we'll give you 80 million pounds if we invest Pedri right here, and then you can keep Messi. I would do that just to see what they would say. They probably would say you're joking. But you just do that. So that's what I thought. I thought Pedri could be a central midfielder. That's what I thought as well. So, but it's interesting. Maybe he's playing as a winger. Initially all players play as wingers. Even Foden does it now. Even the Silva did at the start of his career as well. Played on the wings for City, and then eventually moved in. So maybe that's what it is. But I do feel he's better as a central midfielder. Obviously, we'll hope for Fati as well to have a better season. I think he's another one of those talents. It's kind of not lost, but just like gone off the radar a little bit. And
with the injury as well,
and this leads to my final question, because this is what I think. I think for whatever Barcelona's issues are, as long as they have a sensible summer and as long as they don't go crazy, I think they're well placed to do better, to challenge for the title next season. And I'm not talking about next season, but I just feel it's important to have a good summer. As long as they do that, because they have a good squad. They still have a very good squad for all the trouble that they have. They have a good squad.
I feel that I kind of agree with it, but I feel that we are yet to see the worst of those financial rules, fair play, to kind of hit them.
Okay.
Messi was like they basically chopped the head off.
Yeah.
But then there was a whole body still left. and they've not gone to it. Okay, Griezmann could be a leg, Suarez could be an arm.
Suarez is gone though, isn't he?
Like,
Gone.
yeah, like he's gone completely. But then with Atletico as well, they need to discuss Griezmann. They've not
Griezmann, yeah, he's
decided.
still there.
So
Yeah.
he's still there. Suarez is completely gone. They need to also discuss how do they deal with Aubameyang, because he might now start kind of being like, hello, you see what I'm like. I feel that these, like,
Yeah, I mean, he's still a 1 year contract. See, that's the thing. That's what I'm talking about. Silly. Don't give Aubameyang a new contract now. Don't wait till the end of the season. He's 33, 34 already. He's not, it's not one of those where you need to rush him to give him a new contract. So that's the one I'm talking about. Sensible.
That's again
they're trying to sign Lewandowski. So
yeah, exactly. Because then they're going in for Lewandowski. So I'm like, how does that work? Like, what's the plan here? I'm like, this is like, okay, you're basically looking at players with 1 year left on their contract, and then trying to, deviate them, or you're basically putting your bid in early and telling them, okay, we are interested, and this deal didn't work because your club didn't allow you to go, and then you get them on free transfer. Does that help? Or like how? So I'm kind of I still feel that there's a lot on the financial fair play and the financial situation that they have. They've got themselves into to kind of actually unravel. Summer, I think the next season will be more troublesome in my mind rather than more positive, I feel. And I'm expecting that. I feel them, and I will be happy if I'm proven otherwise. So I'm kind of putting very low on expectations there, saying the fact that there is no chance Barcelona is going to try for the title again.
Yeah. I just feel that there is because the players that they have right now, if you look at the spine or whatever, they've got, even if they don't get Lewandowski, they've got Aubameyang, they've got Ferran Torres, they've got Pedri, they've got Busquets probably still has a year, maybe.
I agree with that. I'm not saying that they don't have a squad. I feel,
the defense, I think Araujo looks good to me. I mean, as long as he recovers from whatever he had, the horrible injury scare that he had on the head injury, as long as he recovers properly from that, I hope.
Exactly, and then and Christensen coming in, and Aspilicueta.
Chelsea fans will probably tell you Christensen is probably not the kind of sign.
I at least feel that it's something they are reinforcing as well. So it's basically, and I'm very sure this is kind of averaging out the financial fair play in my mind. That's why the numbers are kind of increasing, but they're not giving that many salaries in my mind. So that's kind of the thing that still needs to be discussed. Like, how does it really end up in summer, where they actually go back and sit down and look at those numbers again and be like, okay, where do we stand from here, and I think Griezmann is one definitely big one to look at.
That will be the key, I guess, to try to offload him in some way.
Because I think Griezmann's deal or Griezmann's offload then allows them to possibly take 3 players, and if that doesn't go through, that's not going to happen.
And that's probably why they need to get rid of Frenkie de Jong as well, because
exactly, I'm like that, just to put that in a way. So so I feel that I feel that we are still to see the I'm still expecting to see a very big slump in the next season as well.
We'll talk about the next season. Obviously, we'll do a season preview later in the summer once we know what is happening. So we'll definitely do that. We'll get into the final questions. So, Knayha, who's your player of the season?
The minus the injuries, I think it's been very hard to kind of, I would say, like every key player who started picking form got injured eventually for Barcelona. So I don't think there is any player that just to say consistently not being injured and being there, Frenkie de Jong.
It's a good choice
because he's been there all along.
Yeah. I mean, I'd probably be Pedri if he hadn't been injured for that long.
Yeah, but that's what I'm thinking,
if he had played a full season. So I mean, it's difficult to say, right? It's not been that sort of
because Ferran Torres started playing really well. I really liked the way he started, but then he got injured and he went off for a couple of games. He came back. He was not the same. Ansu Fati.
I've been injured for too long.
He kept getting injured. I was really looking forward to seeing.
I think he's a special talent. I think Fati and Pedri are too special. I mean, Gavi as well. If you include those 3, like that's your and I think Fati's probably 20. He's not even 20 yet. I don't know.
No.
So it's like you've got 3 really good players, and that's why I feel Barcelona well placed. As long as they keep their heads and they don't get too crazy, because these 3 are talents you don't want to sell. You want to have to sell these 3 players, and then you can build around that and you can do something. But anyway,
what is very interesting as well to also say what happens with Dani Alves.
Dani Alves, yes. But I think it's again 1-year contract. He's an old head. You keep him around. I don't think he's on that big wages. So yeah, he's just there for the experience. And
yeah, I think they're kind of trying to also settle the club in a way, the dressing room as well. You need somebody to kind of have that personality, character.
Yeah, you have Dani Alves, your Pique, because you don't really have much else. So yeah, you get those guys. Flop of the season, I mean, for me, there are lots of contenders, but it's got to be Barcelona's kit. That's a flop because that was hideous. I don't know. What do you think about that? I thought that's a hideous kit, and I hope they do something better next season.
I think the plus there was basically asking for money.
Okay. Was that, or was it for the ambulance sign for all the injuries?
Could be both, but I'm like basically like we are running on credit here, so please help us.
Oh yeah, the Credit Suisse and the plus sign. Oh wow, that was bad. I think hopefully they come with something better next season. And
it could be, but I'm like I won't. It's still the whole Barca. The league has dropped its viewership immensely after Messi left. And the way Premier League is kind of eating into those shares of excitement and the battles, that just adds on.
Those are cyclical, though. I think.
But then
Serie A is coming back a little bit. Competitiveness is coming, so Serie A will be back. La Liga will be back. I think that will grow again.
But then it's. I'm just trying to say it's not been a great time with Barcelona as well, right? Coming back at the cyclic part of it dropping, and Real Madrid on a also on kind of a rebuild.
They might be winning 2 trophies this season. That would be something.
It could be, I think they will win the Champions League this time as well.
Second time he said that, by the way. Second time he said that. Yeah, he's very adamant that Real Madrid are going to win the Champions League. Yeah, I know.
They have to but then I just feel like it's for Barcelona. It's just going to be worse, I would say. So
but for you, unfortunately, it's worse either way. So whoever wins it, it's not a good thing, is it? Either Liverpool win it or Real Madrid win it. There's no out. Yeah.
It's going to be fun that I'm going to a Liverpool pub actually to watch that game, which is going to be fun.
That's very bold of you. And
the only thing that they said on recommendations is like, don't wear white. I'm like, okay.
Well, no, white, probably don't even wear United t-shirt, and go there.
No. I want to live a little more. But I think by Barcelona, as a Barcelona fan, I feel Messi leaving is still hard to deal with. I would say I'm not still over it. It's very hard to see him not in a Barca shirt.
You're not the only one.
Yeah, I know there are a lot, but then I want to just say it out loud because I know a lot of people, a lot of viewers who watch this will be like, but we're still not out of, because that's
It'll take a while. I mean, it took United like years to get off. I don't think they ever recovered from Ronaldo.
Yeah, I don't think they've recovered.
Yeah, and so
they had to get him back basically.
Yeah, pretty much. And it still wasn't the same when they got him back. So they're still waiting. They're still waiting for someone. There's been things like that. Madrid, I think, took a while to recover from Ronaldo leaving as well. It's the way it is.
But what do you think? Well, in one word, a question to you, one word, if you define Barcelona's season.
I would say it's been weird. It's weird, right? Because when you think about it, there's this optimism around Barcelona, right? But when you look at the stats, there shouldn't be. And so it's just weird, right? But I mean, I don't know. And like I said, but I always try to look forward. And for me, it's more about thinking, well, what's going to happen and how they work. And I think it's about looking at the past to go forward. And that's what I think Barcelona should be doing. And as long as they avoid the mistakes, and the mistakes were off field, they were never on the field, they were always off field. As long as they avoid those, things will be fine. So anyway, on that, but do smash a like, by the way, if you enjoyed Knayha bearing his soul about Messi leaving, do smash a like. Just smash a like for Knayha. Smash a like for Knayha. That's what I say at the end there. But if you did enjoy this video, do smash a like as well, and do share it, of course, because it is something that we do appreciate. So do share that. Thank you so much, Knayha, for joining. Absolutely love to having you on the show and getting your insights on Barcelona and the season that they have had. We hope that they have a better season. Of course, we've got a big Champions League final coming up, as Knayha mentioned, and we're doing a preview show for that as well. So do stay tuned. And if you did, of course, remember to subscribe to our channel on YouTube and on Facebook, because there's a lot of happening. This is a very, very big summer. It's a lot of things that are going to happen, not just for Barcelona, but also for other clubs. And we're going to be here. We're going to do all of the reviews, the reactions. We'll do all of that. So do stay tuned. So if you subscribe, you do get notified as videos drop. So please do that. I hope you enjoyed this video. Do smash a comment and let us know what you thought about Barcelona's season. But until we see you again next time, take care and have a good day. Bye-bye.